Morning all, how are we doing? Happy Thursday, nearly the weekend, and the start of the school holidays today. 6 weeks of trying to entertain children. It's all good fun. Excuse me, before I go my throat again. Morning Fabio, Ladder, Diamond, morning. Big day today. Big day. Euro rate day. And also a big letdown this morning. Bank of Japan were very, very let down this morning. Didn't do anything. really weak. Pretty much basically no movement from them. Yeah, business as usual. I was expecting some movement in one direction or the other. At least we got nothing, literally nothing. So I'm wondering, morning Jesse, if it's potentially they're waiting for the refinance rate first before they do anything. The press conference didn't happen until actually it's just happening now. It might even still be going on. But the press conference was tentative this morning when I looked at about 6:30ish. So 1:15 this afternoon is the euro rates. We've got US dollar unemployment and Philly Fed this afternoon, and then we've got the ECB press conference at 1:45. So 1:15 onwards till probably about 2:15, just before the New York Open, we're going to get the volatility coming in. So looking at the yen pairs this morning, we got literally nothing. We got a little spike on US dollar yen there. So yeah, just a bit of a spike, nothing. I was really expecting movement in one way or the other. So if we have a look at what the Bank of Japan said, high inflation rates globally and volatile FX markets, these have been observed. Yeah, we can all use our eyeballs. As the output gap narrows, wages rise, medium to long-term inflation expectations rise. Yeah, it's the same as everybody else. Quarterly reports on risks. Blah, blah, blah. Inflation expectations are getting higher, worse. They didn't change their rates. So, as expected, still negative rates. Trade balance, imports, yeah. So basically, they haven't done anything. So this is still bad for the yen. Still bad. They haven't said anything about purchases, have they? No. Okay. So so yeah, it's still bearish. Yen. Continue monetary easing because price hikes will not be sustained. So basically they're taking the opposite stance to the rest of the world, which is obviously not good. So they're not doing anything about inflation at the minute. They're on top of it. Don't worry, everything's fine. Everybody's like, don't panic, there's nothing wrong. Since 2000 and was that September 2021? We've been in a decline, but don't worry about it. Nothing wrong. They're living in a dream, aren't they? So bullish everything against the yen still. So if you're in yens, especially euro yen, this afternoon, you could have a lovely little pop. So if you want to take a gamble this afternoon, and it is a gamble because it could go either way, it could whipsaw, it could do anything it likes, but potentially this afternoon we're going to be getting that 0.5 off of that 0.25 forecast, and we're going to get potentially a pop on the euro. So euro yen quite possibly, when that news is out, will become the weakest currency. So could get a decent pop off of that, worth having a look at. I would want to put a stop on it just in case the euro goes completely the opposite direction. It may well do, we don't know, but we don't know how much the market's factored in these rate increases. But yeah, good looking opportunity on Euro Yen. Let's just see if any of the yens. Oh, look at the H4 RSI, flat as a pancake. This week's been like that, hasn't it? I'm stuck in everything. I'm just stuck in everything. Nothing's going anywhere. Hasn't been going anywhere all week. Been grinding around. So there's nothing on the 4-hour RSIs, nothing on the hourlies, nothing on the ADRs, nothing on the weeklies. Flat. Market's flat, as you'd expect ahead of the biggest rate announcement for the last 3 years. So yeah, let's see what happens this afternoon. We'll run through all the pairs this morning, because obviously there's nothing to look at on the dashboards because nothing has moved. Just a quick recap. Yesterday, I did 0.5 yesterday. I'm literally taking stuff off and putting stuff on and taking stuff off and putting stuff on. I feel like I'm going for a washing machine at the moment. It's good because I'm making money doing it, but there's just no movement on anything at present. So yesterday, where are we? The 20th, I closed an Aussie CAD, which was that one there. So you can see, you know, this was with the Aussie CAD. Wrong button. 1 sec. So I've literally been adding on a position, taking off position, adding on a position, taking off position, adding on a position, taking off position, adding on a position, taking off a position. Just milking it basically. If this thing just continues to go like that, I'm just going to keep hitting it at the highs and taking it off the lows. So Aussie CAD took one off there yesterday. I had a break even yesterday, so this one here. Yeah, sorry, this one here, sorry. That one was the profit, that one was the break even. So that one was this position here. You can see it just there. I took that off at break even. That was again ahead of the CAD rate announcement. So I just wanted to reduce risk on the rate announcement just in case it flew. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going into drawdown on this position. So as soon as I knew it wasn't going anywhere, I added the position back on and then I just took it off because it went down and I made profit. So closed out my oil again. So again, same thing with oil. I've just been hitting oil long, and just keep hitting it long, keep getting in, keep getting out, keep getting in, keep getting out. That's yesterday's trade. As we push down this morning, I shall get in again and hit it again. And pound US, took one off of that. This thing yesterday drove me nuts. I was watching my P&L yesterday, going from $100 in profit to $100 in loss, to $100 in profit, $100 in loss. And it's basically, you can see where my break even is. My break even yesterday was, I think, somewhere like there or there. And it was just like profit, loss, profit, loss, profit, loss, profit, loss, profit, loss. And it eventually just went, sorry, I'm taking it. I took it. So again, I'll get in again. I've got a position in profit already on this one. So, you know, I'm at break even. But again, we are just in a holding pattern. This is Monday. We're in a holding pattern. Nothing's going anywhere until that rate announcement comes out. So we should get some decent movement this afternoon. We had a little bit of hope on the US dollar yesterday. So positions I've got on at the moment are Aussie dollar CAD. Within half an ADR on that, got 2 positions on that one, waiting for that to move. Pound US, which I just showed you. So got 2 positions on that one at break even pretty much. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Just got to break even. This just hovering around a break even. As I say, we were hovering. I've got 2 positions on there. Just hovering, not going anywhere. And I got US dollar CAD as well. So US dollar CAD is the sort of worst position at the moment. We're down at just not going anywhere. You know, we haven't gone anywhere all week. So we're just down at this support at the moment and waiting for that pop. It looked yesterday like we were getting that pop starting on the US dollar because the indices collapsed. So we had a nice big spike up. Then we had another nice big spike up, and then we just sat there. So it looked yesterday like the US dollar was starting to come to life as the indices started that run down yesterday, but nothing. So just sitting waiting for everything at the moment. It's just crap. So just quickly looking at indices. DAX we tapped the resistance that I was looking for yesterday, straight out of it, pulled back, and this morning it looks like we've gapped massively this morning. Yeah, when I went to a gap fill this morning, I wasn't here this morning, I was at spin class, so market's just opened. Oh my god, market's just opened. I haven't heard a cricket go off yet. Have I got the volume up on this? Blimey. Okay. So literally there's no volume in the market. Nothing. Wow. Okay. Yeah. They haven't gone off. Maybe tick strike's broken. That's weird. Literally no selling or buying at all of any volume. Okay. Odd. So yeah, I don't know if did anybody get on this morning? This lovely gap fill. I wish I'd seen this one this morning. Lovely. So look for the gap fill this morning. We haven't got a lot left. A bit late to get on it, but there we go. A couple of DAXs come in there. That was it. So they'll probably push down to the gap. Morning, Kennelly. Let's see what happens. But so yeah, from a daily perspective, yesterday we pushed up into the highs, rejected very nicely. US indices pushed up and went bullish. So we got divergence on the DAX and the US indices. So they all ended up with a bull day yesterday. This thing ran for the hills. And then in the afternoon it collapsed completely. So I rode this one with a beautiful trade yesterday. I saw it. It was a textbook high volume sell yesterday. So yeah, really nice trade. But we didn't get a massive amount of movement yesterday. We had a big run up in New York, and then we took out the highs, and I caught the drop back down again yesterday. So really nice looking trade. I've got an interesting little TPO chart to show you of what happened yesterday at the highs. So this is it's called a time and price chart of the futures, and this is yesterday's New York session. You can see here, yeah, we pushed up. Let me just break it open. So this is the push up yesterday, yeah, and then you see this level here. These are 30 minute blocks, time blocks, yeah. So we had 1, 2, 3 stop run, 4 collapse. That is where I got in there. I showed all this live in the Telegram group yesterday on Jigsaw. Up here after that push, we saw thousands of short contracts enter the market. So I got in short with those guys, and we didn't turn around. We just went bang, collapsed. So that was a really strong high, and it's really easy to see this on the time and price chart. So and there's your volume profile. But yeah, we had wrong one. Where's that chart gone now? So let me just grab that chart back over there. So yeah, so very strong resistance up there. So today I get the feeling on the US indices we may well have a down day coming today. So where we pushed up above resistance, we did manage to hold above that resistance. I get the feeling today we're going to start that 3-bar reversal, move back down to the downside. It's earnings quarter, earnings week, big week next week, but there's lots of earnings coming out this week as well. So dependent on what happens with those earnings, we could well see a massive drop yesterday. So Ladder, hi all. Sorry if I missed, but did you go over Euro CAD already? Should that not be moving up in anticipation of the rate change? Well, you move up on the rate change or after the rate change, not in anticipation of. Haven't covered any of the FX pairs yet. Excuse me. So yeah, all the US indices, couple of big days, especially NASDAQ. We had a lot of tech stocks coming out yesterday and today. But if you look where we stopped yesterday, up at that high, that's these lows. So accumulation, break, propulsion gap, push up into propulsion gap, sellers that sold here long term stepping back in. So potentially this market structure, which is kind of double topped there, contracted and then broke, could break out. But the other school of thought on this is a large accumulation, multi-week accumulation, and we've broken out. And we didn't just break out, we broke out and we stepped up. So there is potential for a push, pullback, push. So there's a lot of posts flying around now, like bear market's over, we're going back into a bull market. So I personally don't believe that, because I don't. The economy is, we're putting up interest rates, but inflation is still going up. Pockets are still getting tighter. I don't think we're out of this bull market by any means yet. I don't think we've even seen the recession yet. So I still think we've got downside. But this is the highest, strongest push we've seen on the indices since, when was that? That was March. When we got out the 72, popped our head above, then look what happened. Had another go. This is us having another crack before the next drop. So any time. But earnings week is obviously a week where we get a lot of, it's kind of the stock market's fundamentals. It's earnings on companies. So it's real world. Did we make money? Didn't we make money? Should our stock value increase or should our stock value decrease? If people are seeing stocks drop on poor earnings and they perceive it to be a valuable stock because they can buy it cheap, they will do, and we'll get rushes on the stock market. So we get a lot of big candles, a lot of big volatility in earnings week, or earnings fortnight really. It's this week and next week. So for the next couple of weeks, if you see this thing flying, jump on board and fly with it, because it's likely to just go. Same with all the US indices. We had a lot of divergence on the Dow yesterday. The Dow, if you can see, the Dow put in a doji yesterday. The Dow started dropping at the New York Open, and the ES and the NQ went flying. So we had a bit of divergence across those yesterday, as you can see. Much stronger NAS than anything else. So for those trading oil, I put this in the Telegram group yesterday. We are about to hit a double bottom low from 2021 March, and yeah, all March, mid to end March, we double bottomed. Yeah, and then we came through, price discovery, rejected it, weren't interested, put in a 3-bar reversal, and then off we went. This is our first time coming back to retest this area. So a little bit like the Euro US dollar parity play, pending order, just above there. Yeah. There's no spread on it, so you could literally go anywhere really close as you like. But this is around ADR today. We hit this today. It's highly likely we're going to get a reaction. There's going to be a load of limit orders sitting down there wanting to buy this triple bottom or double bottom, depending on whether you class it. I mean, it's in the month, it hit twice in the month, but that was a year ago. But yeah, this is an area of high interest for buyers. And gold has been dropping steadily for quite a long time. So there's talk of the UK as well banning gold imports from Brazil because they're destroying the rainforest to put in gold mines. There's a lot of gold under there. And we are the 3rd largest importer of gold. So there's talk of us banning gold imports from Brazil, which will hurt the exports from Brazil, which will drive prices of gold up because the supply will drop. So as long as demand doesn't drop, but demand is dropping because we're all getting poorer and we can't afford gold stuff. You know, it's an economic cycle that just never ends. But yeah, so I'm not going to trade that because I don't trade gold. But if you do trade gold, it's a good play there this morning, potentially this morning or this afternoon. It's too bad Forex Factory, I guess that is, doesn't show earnings statements releases in their calendar. No, if you want earnings, you can go to way too much in my trading folder. That one. No. That one. It's called ii.co.uk when it loads. Interactive Investor, ii.co.uk, and it's US earnings season. It gives you a calendar. So we are the 21st. We've got AT&T and Blackstone pre-market and Philips pre-market. We've got Snap this afternoon after market. And then tomorrow we've got American Express, Schlumberger, Twitter and Verizon. Tesla we had out yesterday, hence NASDAQ doing better than normal. So this came out after market Wednesday. So at the open Thursday, everybody bought Tesla. And you can see next week is the big one. We've got 3M, Coca-Cola, all the big boys next week. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, the lot. Yeah, Apple, so Roku, all the big players next week. So next week is the big week for earnings fortnight, and then it carries on after that with the these kind of the minor stock. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's big companies like Moderna, Eli Lilly, and that lot. But this is the big one. And poor old Peloton. I wonder what's happening with Peloton. Everybody sold their fitness equipment. Are they not done? Oh no, hang on. Let's look at the yearly. Yeah. Look at that. If ever you want to see a COVID-related stock, this is it. COVID. Oh my God, I can't go to the gym. Buy a bike. Oh look, the gyms are open. Sell your bike. Bust. So yeah, Peloton, not good. So that's earnings fortnight. ii.co.uk if you want to check out what's happening there. But it will give you an idea. You can look at all of these, and you can look at whether they're in the Nasdaq or the S&P. Pretty much everything in the Nasdaq is in the S&P. But this is why we had divergence on the Dow yesterday. Because the Dow stocks is only 30 and it contains less stocks, and there's a lot more industrial stocks in there. So when you get lots of tech stocks coming out, the S&P and the Nasdaq move, and they move differently to the Dow because there's less investment going on in the Dow. So this is the one to check out. Right, let's cover all that lot. Oil, I'm in. So we got this trend line on oil, which we are at the moment. Okay, we're pulling back. I have just got into another oil, so we've obviously had a reversal alert just happened. There we go. So had a reversal alert on M5. God, that's a big old spread, wasn't it? So I'm in oil again and looking to push up. So this trend line is the current oil decline. You can see obviously it's been very nicely respected as we've come down, and we are right there now. But we've got a very strong channel moving up at the moment. So it's a case of, is this going to be a W pattern, or are we just literally going to break? Everybody and their wife who uses trend lines, and this is why trend lines don't work. Yeah, they do work sometimes, but this is why trend lines don't work a lot of the time. Everybody and their wife, as soon as you get 2 hits on a trend line, is watching that trend line. So they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The third time you hit the trend line, quite often you'll get a good trade out of it. The fourth time you hit a trend line, the banks are onto it. They know about this. They can see everybody doing this. What are they looking at right now? The entire universe has shorted it, because you've hit that trend line 3 times. A monkey can see that trend line, right? Where's everybody stops? Now, right above there. They'll pull it down, they'll give you a chance, you'll go, yeah, hey, wicked, let's add a little bit more to our position, and then they'll bang, take it out. So fourth hit to a trend line, in my experience, is death. By the fourth hit to a trend line. But quite often you'll get that pullback. So I'm expecting a W pattern, potentially. We're at the bottom. 90 to 95 a barrel is not really where any of the Arab states want this to go below. They'll be buying up a lot of this. So I think we're still good with oil, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a drop back to 95, 97 a barrel, sort of an ADR, in which case I'll jump into a couple of positions. But equally, we could just go straight away. So oil should continue to go up. We had negative inventories this week. So as long as demand doesn't drop dramatically, we'll be all right. Long yet still. Right, so that's all commodities done and indices. What's happening with Bitcoin, just out of interest? Oh, it's broken. It's managed to get above the 22.5. Obviously, I don't know why I said all. Of course it has, because the indices have. Yeah, I mean, we're breaking up with the indices. A lot of people aren't watching the indices that trade crypto. They don't even know the indices exist. So, they're like, oh, look, we've got to break out. This is the next bull run of Bitcoin, not realizing that this is all linked to the indexes now. So we'll do what the indices do with Bitcoin. So just bear that in mind if you're trading it. Right. Pound US dollar has just gone back into profit. So we really want to break this yesterday's low, Asian low, and then obviously next target is previous day's low, and then obviously you can see I've got a TP in this propulsion gap, so I'm expecting bounce out the propulsion gap accumulation. So I've got one TP down there, and the other TP is very low. Right, so pairs. Let's whiz through all the pairs and just see if we've got any opportunities. Yawn, could have slept in regarding DAX. Yeah. Wiki hideousness. Haven't got the gap fill. There's very, very little. Just bear, the market is waiting for this. Nobody in their right mind is going to dump a load of orders on anything until they know what's happening with the euro. It's the second largest currency in the world and the biggest potential shift in fundamentals and directional bias we've had for years. So I very much doubt we'll get anything happening this morning. If you could probably take profit, get in, take profit, get in, take profit all morning. Just keep buying the highs, selling the lows. Selling the highs and buying the lows on it, but I don't think it's going anywhere today until this afternoon. I don't think anything is. Right, so I'll cover the euros first today. So you've got two options today with the rate announcement. The likelihood is we are going to increase to 0.5. We won't find out until is it in the monetary policy statement? Okay, I'm not sure. Basically, the two things that are going to affect us today are going to be this rate, whether it comes out at 0.5 or whether it comes out at 0.25. If this comes out at 0.75, hold on to your hats. You're going to see 300 ADR on the euro at least. If it comes out at 0.5, we should see a pop on the euro. This should be bullish for the currency. The market has factored in an increase of 0.25%. A lot of the countries have been increasing their rates above forecast. In fact, most of them, which is why the yen is dying, because the yen's decided to stay not at the same rate, but at the same rate in negative. They're minus 0.1% on their interest rate. So you put money into a bank, you start losing it. It's basically going to impact the euro probably in a big way. Now, we don't know how much the market has factored in. So with the strategists, there's two elements they're looking at, the analysts. They're looking at what is the rate now and what is the forecasted rate for next quarter in September. So what they want to see is an increase in interest rates now, and they want to see a forecast of an at least 0.5 to 0.75 increase in September. That is ideal, because it means that the euro have identified they've got an issue. They're not just being reactive, they're being proactive by increasing it to 0.5 now, and they are going to put an extra 0.5 to 0.75 in September. So they're basically saying we are going to get ahead of the curve and get on top of inflation. And getting on top of inflation, keeping it down, keeps recession at bay and keeps more money in people's pockets quicker. Doesn't stop a recession, but it means it's not as bad. So the market wants to see Lagarde coming out and being hawkish. If she's hawkish on it, we're going to see a pop in the euro. That pop is going to be dependent on what these rates are and what the forecast rates are for September. And I'm not sure if they come out in the monetary policy statement or that will be something that's addressed in the press conference. It will definitely be addressed in the press conference if it's not in there. So the press conference we could see some decent volatility on as well. So if we get an increased rate there and we see the euro sort of muck about, do a little spike and not really go anywhere, what we are probably waiting for is confirmation of September in the press conference, and then they'll make their move. So it is impossible to tell when it will go, which direction it will go and how far it will go. But overall consensus is it should go long. So with all of these euros, you want to think about currency strength. So let's see if we've got one. Yes, we have. So you want to think about currency strength. So we are assuming, if we assume the euro, as you can see at the moment, is the strongest currency today. If we pick the weakest currency today, which is currently the Swiss franc, we can't trade that. New Zealand dollar, I would say. What's the yen? Blue, light blue. It's coming up a little bit. So anything below the line basically is weak at the moment. So if you assume that this is going to go massively strong, the euro, it's going to move further against a currency which is weak. Yeah. So if you pick a strong currency against a strong currency, when they both power up, they beat each other to death and they go sideways. If you've got a currency that powers up massively while another one is weak, you get a bigger move to the upside. So we want to be looking at stuff. If you want to scalp this or you want to get into a position that's likely to run quickly, you want to be looking at what's weak at the moment. So at the moment we've got things like the New Zealand dollar. The Swiss franc is going to move with the euro in all likelihood. So that's probably not a good one to trade. And I'm quite curious as to why the Swiss franc is weak this morning with the strong euro. That should get dragged along with it. But other weak currencies you've got are the yen and at the moment the US dollar. Pound strengthening up a little bit. So that's kind of what you want to look at if you are going to try and get a scalp in on this today. New Zealand and yen. Yeah, I would say, based on this morning's news, I would say the yen isn't particularly weak at the moment. You can see everything is pushing up against the yen right now. So it's not particularly strong, but it's not particularly weak at the moment. But that doesn't mean it's not going to weaken dramatically when the news is out. Don't forget, everybody's in the banks sitting on their cash at the moment. They've got a load of orders built up. They just don't want to put the orders in the market until they know they can get the best price. And the best price is going to be dependent on where the euro is going to go this afternoon. So we're going to see a big influx of orders probably this afternoon. High volatility, probably a load of ADRs. I say this, that's the expectation on these sorts of rate announcements, and then we have things like this morning with the yen, nothing happens. So you just got to plan for it, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There's nothing you can do, is there? But yen doesn't mean because it's weak, it's not happening now. They could well be waiting to move the weakness or pull the yen orders this afternoon. And if they pull the yen orders and pump the yen and pump the euro yen is going to be the thing that's going to fly. It's going to take off. It's already going for the last 12 hours. It's already been moving up. So looking at all of these, Australian dollar neutral to weak. If we are going to go bullish, euro, this is spot on. Yesterday they did a stop hunt. They did a liquidity run yesterday. Look, this is a absolutely textbook wick off spring. Yeah, push up, pull down, accumulate, stop hunt, run, hold the highs, explode. Yeah, if this gets up to here this morning, bang, stop hunt. Everybody that's hit the long button since the 7th of July on that W, everybody that got in long, well, they're out. They got in long again, they're out. They got in long again. Euro New Zealand's hit ADR already. They got in long again, they're out. Everybody's dead, everybody's flat. Everybody that's gone long has been taken out of the market. All the retailers are going, oh, this isn't going anywhere, I'll go short. Bang. This is what they do. So yeah, that's a really good spot, Euro New Zealand. But again, this isn't the sort of play, I'm just explaining what I'm expecting to happen. This isn't the sort of play that I do. This is too risky for me. I don't take high risk trades like this. Just in case we get the inverse. We don't know how much the market has factored in this increase. You can see what they've been doing. Yeah, this increase has been forecast. It's been coming down hard, okay, and since then we've been holding. Yeah, so they haven't been adding and building the euro up, but they have not been devaluing it as much, so it's held well against a lot of other pairs. So things like euro odd, very, very good. Euro New Zealand has just hit ADR, so it's already on its way, but equally, you know, got that W there. We're just about to get a 4-hour reversal. If the euro is going to power up, we're looking to target there. There's loads of room. You could get a 225 to 300 ADR. You could be sitting up there this afternoon. So euro odd, euro New Zealand, euro CAD. The CAD is strong off of oil, although it's a bit weak at the minute. But you can see the strength coming in on the euro now. But that is also on Canadian dollar weakness. Whether this is going to be stronger than the CAD is a difficult one. So Euro CAD wouldn't be my first choice, and neither would Euro US dollar. Purely because these two currencies are fairly strong, obviously, and when they power up, they will power up and they will move quickly. So I look at the currency strength every day to help me pick potential pairs to scalp the swing. Yeah, it can be useful. We've got a load of selling starting to come in on the indices. Choppy nastiness this morning. Just don't get involved. I'm not interested this morning. I'll be interested this afternoon. So Euro Swiss. Now Euro Swiss, Swiss is usually in charge of Euro, just because they're both in the same area. They're both big trade partners. A lot of Euro money goes through the Swiss banking system. The Swissy powered up its rates and went way bigger than everybody expected. Complete surprise, and obviously massive strength in the Swiss franc. So this isn't the best pair, I don't think, to trade, because these two tend to power up at the same time on positive news from each other. So when you get Euro positive, you get Swiss positive, which causes accumulation. So I wouldn't particularly want to take that as a long. Euro pound. Pound is very weak at the moment. You can see the euro is beating the pound. So again, this is a good one, but it's all starting to move. So the reason I don't like any of these as well is because, you know, we're buying as we're pushing up. Any of these that are coming down, I would love them. Like the euro against the odd, rather. It's good. We're down. We're at the lows. So you want to buy at the lows and sell at the highs, don't you? So that is good. And euro yen, very good one as well. But obviously we are midline in a range, which is not really where you want to be buying from. But we should have a positive bias. So look for a run on the highs. That's only 250 ADR. Can do that this afternoon in one candle, potentially. We don't know. It depends what they do. So be aware of all of these. There's opportunities on all of them. You know, a play I used to do with news trade. I used to news trade. I don't do it because it's just so unreliable, news trading. Just purely because of the spikes. If you get it spike and then run, they'll chop everybody out. They'll whipsaw the highs. You know, a typical play would be long, take out liquidity of everybody that's been short, and everyone goes, yes, euro long, come down, take out the liquidity of everybody that went long speculatively, assuming the euro was going to rise, bring it back to the middle, everybody goes long, and then they'll come down and whipsaw it out and take it higher. So they'll just take highs and lows, take everybody's money, and then they'll start the move. It might be an hour, might be half an hour, might be 10 minutes, might be tomorrow morning. But it's quite typical in news for that thing to happen. But sometimes you just get that run. So pending order above the highs before the news. If it's going to go and it's going to go and it's not going to stop for 225 ADR, you're in. Stop under the low and you're out. You may well not get filled if there's high demand, low liquidity. You might enter there and you might actually get filled up there somewhere. Again, we don't know. Look at the CPI on the US dollar. When we had the CPI figure come out, when was CPI? Was that CPI? Might have been it. 130. No, that's New York. Oh, I can't remember. Wherever it was, you know the one I'm talking about. That was recently, wasn't it? Anywho, that's a good example anyway. But that's the type of thing you can get happening. So we'll get that massive. The news comes out and it's up here, and news comes out and it just goes vroom. And you get a gap. There's no liquidity to fill at those prices, so your pending order was there, you get filled down there, and then within that candle as well, it spikes up, it takes you out, and before you know it, I saw that in CPI when I was trading the futures. I think I put it up in the group, didn't I? I lost $400 in less than a second because my order was filled, slipped, it pushed back 16 ticks, took me out, and then it dropped, all within less than a second. There are tens of thousands of lots landing instantly in milliseconds, and the market just can't keep up with it. So you just got to be a bit careful when you're scalping the news, especially if it's going to be a fast mover. But building this up to be a massive event, and it could well just be a complete flop. We've had this so many times recently. But I just get the feeling this one is, this is long overdue. This is the first time they've said they're going to put their rates up in 6 years. And they're behind the curve. So it feels like it's going to be a bigger than expected rate change. So there's all the euros. Up to you what you want to do with them. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm going to wait for the market to go. If we go bang, yeah, okay, I know now my bias is positive on the euro. So I'm going to wait for these pullbacks and I'm going to look to get into longs. But I'm not going to risk getting a speculative order ahead of it. Could make a fortune, could easily lose it. Going back to the Aussies, shorts. I'm Aussie short, Aussie CAD short. Let me just move a tick strike out of the way for a minute. So yeah, I'm short Aussie CAD, Canadian dollar strength, Aussie dollar neutral to weak. So yeah, just waiting for the Canadian dollar to strengthen up a little bit. Oil yesterday, we had the barrel counts come out as negative. It didn't do a lot. It did strengthen the CAD ever so slightly. So we did get some movement. We had the CAD CPIs coming out as well, but the CAD CPIs were slightly negative. So they kind of combated each other yesterday. So bit of an odd move on that one, but yeah, short on the Aussie CAD. Aussie Swiss, you can get in short on. Bear in mind that this afternoon, if the euro pumps, the Swissy will probably get dragged along with it. So this is a really good spot right now in this accumulation for taking a short. We're in the 24.72 zone. We've got a bias long on the Swissy. We've got a neutral to negative bias on the Aussie dollar at the minute. So yeah, really good looking short. Again, I'm not going to take that because I've got some Aussie on, and also I don't want to get in ahead on the Swissy ahead of the euro announcement. Aussie dollar yen, still longs. So yeah, I'm just waiting for pullbacks, and I'll take some long positions on that as and when. Not going to short it up there. I'm going to wait for it to get back down somewhere, or just accumulate, wait for the 24 to catch up, and then I'll grab long out of that. Aussie New Zealand still long, taken loads of longs on this. Missed that one. Should have taken this one yesterday in hindsight. We had a reverse alert yesterday on M15 on this. I didn't take it, but should have. I'm not sure it fitted. Yeah, because I've got Aussie. I had at the time Aussie New Zealand on, so it doesn't fit at the minute. So and it's not really going anywhere, but I like it long still. We are up at the highs though. Interestingly enough, this is the first time, if you look at the highs, yeah, this is the first time we haven't dropped from the high. So this may be the Aussie going for a breakout. So we might be looking for that entry. We'll see where that one gets to. Aussie US shorts, waiting for the US to power up again. I was waiting for the US hopefully to do something with some yen strength. Kuroda didn't give us the yen strength, therefore we don't have the strength in the US still. But yeah, it's a lovely short. We've got an M pattern, so we've had the reversal. This is the retest candle. This candle is going to be the retest candle on the 4 hour. Yeah, so we've got that lovely M pattern formation. Looking for a drop down to the lows. CAD Swiss, sideways flat. CAD Yen, just done a breakout of these highs and holding. Again, long. I didn't want to take that break at all. I want it to pull back. So the thing that worries me about pairs like this, when you've been extended above the 24 for such a long period of time, so we're going back to beginning of June here. Well, it's actually, sorry, last time we were back down below the 24 was in May. We've been extended above the 24 for such a long time. It's due a decent pullback, i.e. yen strength. We didn't get that coming out of Kuroda now, so I think this is obviously just going to continue to push up. But I don't like taking things when they're this extended above. I like to see some kind of pullback, which we're not getting at the moment on it. So it's just not in the right spot for me. Euro yen is a lot better. Swiss yen, same as the euro yen. Be looking for longs on this now. So any kind of pullback play, up to you. You can get in on any reverse alert really if you like going long. You may have to take a little bit of heat on it if it's pushed like this. But any kind of pullbacks for longs. Covered all the euros. So euro yen is probably my favourite trade of the day if you want to trade the euro. Pounds. So pounds, we are, as you can see, weak. We got the CPIs on the pound yesterday. Inflation went up more than expected, which is no shock. That's the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, obviously, which is driven by inflation. So we're down at the lows. I'd be looking for pullback shorts on this one. It's difficult to get into this because it's been so unbelievably choppy. But either the New Zealand pound odd or pound New Zealand, I think we'll probably get a little bit of a bounce here. So any ADR hits to the upside, I'll be interested. Any pullbacks to the 24, I'll be interested. You could look at pullbacks into accumulation gaps for shorts as well, but they're all roughly going to be in the same place at the moment. So anywhere back up here, looking double top or a lower high, I'll be interested in shorts, not obviously down here. But I mean, equally, it could just collapse. If it collapses, it collapses. It goes without me. But if we get any kind of pullback on it, I'm looking for shorts on that. Same with the pound New Zealand. Same thing. We're back down here, so potentially we could pull back up. But you see, we didn't get that run back up to the highs last time. Yeah. So again, trendline junkies will be watching, eagerly waiting for it to get up to these sorts of areas somewhere. But legitimately, I think that is where we probably will go from this time. Not because of the trend line, just because of market structure. Yeah, just going to continue structure south. Pound CAD, shorts based on CAD strength. I haven't got a massive amount of it. We're just accumulating. So nothing's going anywhere at this moment. It's so hard to find opportunities at the minute to get into because nothing's moving. Hopefully the euro is going to sort that out this afternoon. Pound Swiss shorts. This actually isn't a bad opportunity. I've got a Swissy long on with the New Zealand dollar. I've got a pound short with the US. It's such a dodgy spot. Ignoring that price discovery phase which failed, this is the range. We are so bang in the middle of the range at the minute. If this was a bit higher, I do still like it short. I'm expecting Swiss franc strength off the euro. Again, this is all 100% bias on euro power this afternoon. If that doesn't happen, throw all this lot out the window. Yeah, I'm just speculating on euro strength at the moment. So I like this short based on the fact that the pound is weak and we should get some Swissy strength. We could come down and run these lows today. But I've got some Swissy on with the New Zealand and I've got some pound on. Again, with all this lot, yeah, any profit I've got on ahead of the news is coming off and going in there because I'm expecting some volatility. So I'm going to bank anything that's green, stick it in there, then it's mine. I've got it. I don't care what happens after that. If it goes against me, I can add it again. If it goes against me, I don't want to lose it. I might as well have it. I've got probably 0.5% there now sitting on the table. So I'll be banking that. I can always add it back on, and if it goes my way, brilliant. These will all go into profit. I win-win. Can't lose. So I'll be banking all of that. I've got pound Swiss on. I've short and long. I've got this on as a sort of pseudo pair anyway at the moment, so I'm not going to take this. But if you do fancy getting on some pound, you're not on any, and you're not on any Swissy, this has got potential today. We're stuck in between two propulsion gaps at the moment. This one's been respected, but it's tapped it again, and every time we're getting lower and lower and lower into this. Yeah, this is weak. And it's only going to take some euro strength to drag the Swissy with it, and this thing's going to come down this afternoon. So this is a nice looking short. I'm not taking it myself. It just doesn't quite fit. If it was up here, I would be much more interested. Or up here, I'd be very, very, very interested, but it's not. So still think we can run the lows. So pound Swiss is a good potential opportunity. Pound yen for longs, we've broken out. It's the weakest possible symmetrical triangle break you've ever seen in your life. It's more of a accumulation, not a break. So yeah, bad. It's still a long, but the pound's not got no weak strength, and the yen's still staying exactly as it was. And the yen wasn't particularly weak; it just was sideways to slightly weak. So you got a weak currency against a weak currency now, which means you just get these flip-floppy accumulation type moves. It's just horrible, not worth having a look at. New Zealand dollar CAD is a short, missed it from there. I'm in the Aussie CAD, same thing. Yeah, don't take both. If you're in one, you're in the other. They're the same pair, very slight differences in them, but they all do the same thing at the same time, the Aussie and the New Zealand. So I'm in that New Zealand dollar CAD short as an Aussie dollar CAD trade. New Zealand dollar Swiss, I am shorting. You can do the same thing in the Aussie dollar Swiss. New Zealand dollar Swiss is actually doing a little bit better. So this is my Swiss franc trade. I'm just going to adjust this. So if we get, and this is another thing you need to do today, if you have any euro or Swiss franc pairs on, at the moment. Look at where your TPs are if you've got TPs in the market. So assume best case scenario. Worst case scenario basically is the euro tanks, right? What's going to happen to this? It's going to fly up. Fine. Nothing I can do about that. I'll deal with that in a minute. Best case scenario, euro flies, Swiss franc tanks. What do we want to do? Assume that we're going for 100 to 150 ADR. So I'm moving TPs down on this high position up here, down to ADR, and this position here, I'm going to go for that low. This position here, we'll assume we're going to run and get the 250 ADR hit. Yeah. So if the news goes our way and you're in any Swissy or Euro, don't go for targets here. Look for bigger targets today. Stretch it, because the likelihood is we're going to spike. If we're going to spike, make the most of it. Be watching the news and watching the P&L very closely as we get the news release. So yeah, New Zealand dollar Swiss, I'm in short already. You're not too late to gain that. It's just coming off the 24. You probably just had an hourly alert. You're just about to get one now on the hourly. Look, there's the rectangles there, just stuck behind my profit line, my break-even line. So you're just about in 12 minutes to get a reverse alert short on the hourly. So you're not too late to get in that one if you want to. New Zealand dollar yen, be looking for longs. We came off of this high. Remember I drew this high in yesterday. Yeah. And I said this high as well. This whole section here is where I'm looking for a reaction. We literally came off the lower trend line. So yeah, it's coming down. But I'd be looking for some reaction somewhere here for longs. So if we get ADR hits to the low, I'm interested long. New Zealand US dollar coming down again, short. I'm on the Aussie. No, I'm on the pound US. New Zealand US is the same thing. Yeah. So looking for US dollar strength to come in to drive all this down. US dollar CAD, I'm long. Hooray! For such a slight sign of some US dollar strength this morning. So if we break yesterday's high, we haven't taken these lows out yet. There's a lot of liquidity sitting here. So potentially on the Euro news, we could get a liquidity run pop. But yeah, we're starting to move at last on the US dollar CAD. So I'm long on that. Nicely extended on the 4 hour. We've got support here in this accumulation, this area of balance. So looking for a pop. But again, it's Canadian dollar is strong and the US dollar is expected to be strong, but it's mediocre at the moment at best. But if the Canadian dollar obviously powers up, if we get a massive spike on oil for any reason or there's any news, then we may well get another push down. But this is the area I'd be looking for them to come and take out these two lows. And then if they take those out and they break above, fantastic. If they take them out and they hold below, I'll be looking to do drawdown control on this. US dollar Swiss long. Well, say long, it's a neutral at the minute. Swiss franc is likely to power up with the euro. It doesn't always happen, but they typically do tend to move together on the same news. You'll find when we had that euro rate, the Swiss franc rate increase up to 0.7, which was totally unexpected, the euro popped, didn't it? So they do move in tandem. So I would potentially see a little bit more downside on this. This is a tricky pair. The US dollar Swiss has always been one of those pairs that's caught me in drawdown and squeezes like this. I've been squeezed in both directions on this quite a few times. When it goes into a mission, it goes into a mission and it doesn't stop for weeks, as you can see there. Yeah, there's the Swiss rate announcement, look. There. So that's where the Swissy announced their rates. And we got, what is it, 83? We got 420, 400% ADR that day. Or 300 and something, wasn't it? Let's put something, measure it from the top there. That 12-hour move, that's 360. So 8, 160. Yes, 300, 400. Well, Yeah, looking potentially for longs on it, but might come down this afternoon on on euro. If so, looking for these lows for a bounce. Third knock on the door, should get a bounce down there. So if we get an ADR hit to the downside, this is one that I potentially would be longing, but I don't think I want to run against the Swissy at the moment. You know, Swissy is strong. Yeah, we've had a fundamental shift on it. It's had a little bit of weakness. But it's bounced exactly off of where I was expecting to off of that resistance. So unless the US bucks its ideas up, that's going short potentially, but I'm neutral in it, long and short. So until it gets into a position where I'm interested, i.e. we get an RSI extension, which I didn't take because I had US dollar on already, but that was where I was going to take the RSI extension, and it's played out beautifully. But that's all I'm interested in with this pair, because it's a strong against a strong. I want something to get extended before I get in. And US dollar yen longs. Didn't pull back long enough. We had a lovely pullback into the support rectangle, and we're bouncing out, but we haven't really gone anywhere. So again, so there's everything. Nothing much of interest to me at all at the minute. There's a few areas of interest that you can get into. Swissy's powering up nicely. We just had an ADR hit. Decent dump on oil. Yep. Whoops, wrong one. I forgot why I can go gap at the bottom of my charts. Nice, because I moved. I unplugged my monitor. I got 3 monitors running now. I got my big 42-inch and my 2 side monitors. And I accidentally turned off my main monitor, my 42-inch monitor yesterday. When you turn off one monitor, Windows goes, oh, okay, you're not using that one anymore. We better move all of your windows that you've got open on this monitor over onto the other 2 monitors. So, of course, everything just got squished up, moved, resized and everything. I turned the monitor back on and I was like, oh, no. And the problem is I've got all of these charts floating everywhere. And every single chart I had to reposition. So don't accidentally turn your monitor off. So yeah, oil, nice drop on oil. So looking for these lows again. So this is the trend line, guys. Oh, we got a lovely gap as well this morning. Look at that. Gap fill, opportunity. ADR's 52. So I'll be looking for additional positions. I might have to adjust the EA on this one to 20. Oil. Distance between 26. I'm just going to adjust the distance between positions on this one. 150, 15, that'll do, 15. Yeah, so what I'm looking for is a double bottom, potentially off of yesterday's low, previous day's low, sorry, or off of this level down here. So we got this resistance broken, turned to support. So there's a decent strong level at 97, 98, and then we've got the previous day's low. So if we get the bounce here on M5, I'm looking to get in, or here. So I'm just, in case we, I don't want to miss this, because this is everybody reacting to that trend line bounce that I said about, yeah? So this is the trend line guys jumping in short, leaving all their liquidity up at this double top. Oh, it's just such a target for the banks. It's not just a trend line bounce, it's also a double top. Trend line guys get in short, double top guys get in short. There's a ton of cash sitting up there at yesterday's high for the banks to come and steal. So I want to make sure I'm in with 2 positions when they do this. assuming obviously there's something not wrong with oil and it's tanking, but I'm going to assume I'm right on the net. This is the low. The only reason I'm forecasting this as the low is because this is pre-COVID lows, pre-COVID highs. Pre-COVID, pre-Ukraine highs. We've tapped into, yeah. Ukraine happened. We returned to source. We carried on with a push. We returned to source. We went, yeah, we want to be long on oil. We created far too many barrels, so supply was too extended and demand remained the same, so we had to sell the oil off cheap, returned back to pre-Ukraine levels. So that is where I'm expecting us to now do our run up to 150. Maybe completely wrong. If I'm completely wrong, I'll deal with it, but that's the plan anyway. Euro New Zealand. We just got an ADR hit. Again, yeah, well, you know, if we're looking long on Euro, we're not looking to do an ADR reversal on that one, are we, today? I've got quite a bit on the table here. This is pound weakness today. New Zealand dollar Swiss, so the Swissie's powering up a little bit, isn't it? I'm gonna do it now. I probably will regret this later, but I've got 0.5% on the table, so I'm taking it now because I've got it. I've still got positions in profit here. So, what did I just close there? Oh, I didn't. Sorry, that was a pending order. I just closed out there. Okay. So I've got 0.5% banked, 1.6. Got one position now on the pound US. So if this is going to run, I'm just going to hold it until it gets a decent amount of money in it. Aussie CAD. I've closed out that New Zealand dollar Swiss. That's single. So New Zealand dollar Swiss. I've still got these two positions on the assumption that we're going to get the Swiss franc strength off the back of the euro pop. If the euro pop obviously does happen, this is going to come down. So this is going to go way into profit anyway today. So in fact, what I then might do is just assume that we're going to get an ADR hit on that one position, and then the second position I will run. I'm not going to get super greedy with it. I'm going to run that to 175 ADR. So that's going to be another 0.75% on those two. US dollar CAD, we've got some movement on as well. Okay, we're approaching yesterday's high. Which is worth nothing. I'm not gonna bother. Taking those off up there. Oh, that's the wrong TP for that one. Let me just move that one up. So I'm just adjusting this TP. So this position, I've got two positions here. The lower one is coming off here, which is assuming we're going to get some kind of reaction at this level. This slightly higher position is coming off here, which is assuming that we're going to get a reaction at this level here. And then obviously I've just got these two up here, which I've been doing DD control on. If we do get this move today to both of these, I will do a bit of DD control on this one, just because it's taking a long time. I've been stuck in this now for over a week, waiting for this US dollar to power up, and it seems we're starting to get it now. So, but done target for the week, 2.5%, 13.3% month so far. We're only on the 21st. Come on, the 20% month. I have them every now and again. DAX gap filled. Done. Good job. Anybody get on that? Did you get on that Diamond? It's tricky to get on today. That was a hard, nasty whip there. It's not good. But yeah, they got the gap fill. Just went about it in a very nasty, choppy way, didn't they, for 20 minutes or so. But you know, going back to our thing we were talking about with a 15-minute, if you use the 15-minute range, your 15-minute opening range was there and there. So you would have taken the break of the low. But this is the danger. The break, if you wait for candle close, which you should, for confirmation, you haven't got it, have you? If you take the break when it hits the level, that was a lovely trade, but obviously higher risk. But selling off like a demon this morning. So now I would wait for that sort of movement, pull back into range potentially, ahead of the euro news. US dollar's going for the highs. US dollar CAD's trying to take out these highs. Could be a good pop out the top there. No, didn't get in. Yeah, it's a tricky one this morning. We've just been rotating on the indices this morning. The other indices. So far this morning we've literally just rotated. So not a very big range this morning. We'll see. So yeah, so that's it for this morning. There's not a lot else I'm looking to get into. I'm pretty well exposed across the board at the moment, which is good. I've still got my CAD hedge on, which is fine because it's working out well at the moment. I keep milking the CAD and Aussie CAD, and I keep milking the US CAD. Although the US CAD's obviously a little bit more difficult at the minute, but yeah, I've got exposure on across the board. I've got my Swissy long. I'm just not going to take any euro, but if you are going to take euro today, euro US dollar's dropping nicely on this US dollar strength, so there's potential. We might have some manipulation going on this morning where they're just trying to get to levels before the news. They might be trying to pop down and take the lows out on euro US dollar before they pump it this afternoon. If they can do this and clear the liquidity here, and potentially clear the liquidity there's a double bottom at previous resistance. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a push if they did get it down to there, but if they can clear all this liquidity out this morning, that leaves that run open this afternoon big time, doesn't it? If they do that, I might be tempted. I've just been stung so many times with whipsaws on news. It's just, I don't want to get stopped out, because if I get stopped out down there, I'll be in with a position probably risking 0.5%. One trade stops me out and gets rid of my entire day's profit. It's just not worth it for me to use a stop on these news trades. Futures wise, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen this afternoon. I get the feeling we're going to have another big day today because of the earnings. We've still got the Tesla. So today we are dealing with Tesla. Let's have a look at actually what happened with Tesla. So we're approaching, is that all-time highs? Oh my God, no. God, Tesla's come down a lot, hasn't it? Uh, ba, 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 ba. So we had a rise yesterday. We're pushing up on the month. Second quarter earnings surge as EV demand continues. Right, so Tesla's come out positive stocks. So look for NASDAQ pop and S&P pop at the open. So obviously this news came out after market. So that's why it says these AMC is after market. That's pre-market. So this news came out after the market closed yesterday in New York. So anybody wanting to buy Tesla stocks got to wait until 2:30 to buy in any quantity. Obviously, you can trade on the Globex and buy Tesla stock, right? But you can't a bulk purchase. You can't do. So that's where all the movement comes. So yeah, it took a hit with Musk trying to buy Twitter. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's Teslas absolutely everywhere at the moment in the UK. You can't walk along the road without a couple of Teslas going past. So they are cheap, they are fast. It's it's the bulk electric car, isn't it? So they've had a good earnings quarter. So we should expect a pump at the open. So at the open, I'm going to look for longs on the indices at the 2:30 open. So if you look at the indices, specifically NASDAQ, they are classed as tech, aren't they? They are in NASDAQ, aren't they? I'm not going mad. Yeah, NASDAQ. I was trying to think, they're actually car manufacturers. So are they in manufacturing, or are they in the Dow, or are they tech? But they are electric, so they are tech. So yeah. Levels wise on NASDAQ this afternoon, a run on the highs at 124.95 is definitely on the cards. Whether or not the market can do that and sustain that just purely on Tesla stock, I don't know. Tesla is top 10 NASDAQ. Yeah, 4 at the moment. So there's a good chance they may get a run on the highs this afternoon. Whether or not it will hold above those highs, just you've got all this over here for potential points we're going to run into. So the highest point of this accumulation here, I would say, is probably the lows there. So you're talking 120, 125.25 and 124.95 on NASDAQ for potential sticking point. But you might find it's just a flurry and then a boom. I'm looking for down day today, but we'll see. Long at the open and look for signs of reversals. So exactly the same play. If you were following in the Telegram group yesterday, what I was posting about the order flow, we saw as we got to those highs yesterday on the S&P, and we were running into and tapping into that high up here. No, not up there. Up here. Yeah. So this is where that was happening, up here. We were tapping into it, we were tapping into it, we were tapping into it, we broke through it, we tapped into it, and then all of a sudden I posted that shot. Thousands of orders came in short, literally thousands of them, and I wrote that down for 2.5 grand. Thank you very much. 10 minutes work. But that's the sort of play I would see today. Run up on Tesla purchases, run out of Tesla. Tesla gets too expensive. And then start the sell-off on the run-ups that we've had for the last 2 days. But who knows? These are the markets. Anything can happen. Right. So anybody got anything else I want to discuss? Let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group if you need anything at all. And just obviously keep your eyes peeled on everything ahead of the news. As I said, anything I've got green ahead of the news, I will probably take off. I'll think about that. But you know, things like this, US dollar CAD, if I've got $60, I'd rather have $60. This is in profit anyway, and if this thing suddenly flies, then all of this lot's going to help me and go into profit, isn't it? So I'd rather not this go into drawdown and this go into drawdown and then me be stuck on 5 positions in drawdown. I'd rather be stuck on 4 positions in drawdown with 0.25% more in the bank. Makes sense. It's not rocket science, is it? If you've got money, pop it in the bank and make money on all of this, or go into less drawdown. It's just logical. Anything that's flat, I don't bother with. But New Zealand dollar Swiss, if I've got something that's slightly in profit on New Zealand dollar Swiss, those are the ones I'm going to leave on. Those are my speculative. That's my speculative position. Assuming that we're going to get Swiss franc pumped on the euro, assuming that the euro is going to get pumped. You know, so it's all speculation. Everything in trading speculation, but there's a very high chance today. I just really, really, really hope they come out with 0.5 instead of 0.25. Yeah, as long as the market hasn't factored in that 0.5% increase, we should see some movement. But we will see. So yeah, 1:15 this afternoon. Keep your eyes peeled. That's when it's all going to kick off. Then we've got the press conference at 1:45. And then obviously markets open at 2:30. So busy afternoon. And then tomorrow, New Zealand statement of intent is nothing. We've got retail sales tomorrow 7 a.m. So just be aware of those. That's before I come on. Retail sales do actually impact, although it's an orange, they do have an impact, but not massive. But you will get some movement off it. So if you've got any pound on, pay attention to those. And then we've got PMIs tomorrow. PMI day tomorrow. Loads of PMIs across the board. News for everybody tomorrow. So another busy day. So today and tomorrow, things are actually going to move. Finally. And then it's the weekend. And then it's the school holidays. Ugh. Does anybody else struggle with the kids in the school holidays, trying to find things to do? Trying to shoehorn them away from their computers. Last year in school holidays, I actually installed MT4 with a demo account on my eldest's computer and said, why don't you learn to trade? And he sat there for ages, buying and selling. And he came in, and he'd made like $100 and something in a couple of hours. But he was literally on 1 minute just going, buy, sell, buy. He was scalping. But just shows you how easy it is. At random, you can make money in this market. If you go long or short and you just happen to be going long when it goes up for a bit, you make money. Total randomness, total chaos. You can't control it, but you can ride it. And let's hope we ride that today. All right, so have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. Links in the chat and links in the description rather, and links coming up in a minute. Hopefully you have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.